hey guys, it is absolutely fantastic to see you once again. This is my movie review on the Lego Movie 2, the second part. So I've been a huge fan of the Lego movies ever since the first one, and I've been a fan of Lego my entire life. So whenever one of these Lego movies, and also the video games, one of my favorite video games of all time is actually Lego Star Wars 2. So whenever something Lego related comes out, I make sure that I am there. And when the first one came out, I remember that was 5 years ago. I watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so much better than I ever expected it to be. And so, is the second one as good? Well, that's up for discussion. So the first and most obvious thing I'm going to be talking about in this review is the animation. Once again, this film is absolutely beautiful. All of the Lego movies films so far have been just absolutely breathtaking. And once again, this film does not disappoint in that regard. It literally looks like it's real Lego interacting with other real Lego in realistic ways. Of course, some of the animations are exaggerated. I mean, there's no way a Lego figure can jump that high. I mean, that's part of it. But the way the Lego actually interacts with one another, it's incredibly realistic. And I'm always blown away with the fact that they animate every single one of these little blocks. It's absolutely incredible. When there's an explosion, it's not just fire. It's actually Lego blocks going like that. And it's Lego blocks starting off small and building upon each other until you get this proper explosion. And it's always incredible to actually see that because it just looks so flipping unique. Besides the Lego films, there's nothing animated that way. Now, first and foremost, this is a comedy film, and I found myself laughing out loud so many times. This really was an absolutely hilarious movie. There's so many jokes, especially when they license other licensed products make their way in. So they have things like the Justice League, and they joke around with the Justice League, and there's this one scene where they're like, yeah, we try to call Marvel, but they aren't returning our calls and stuff like that. And it's like the real world is slowly seeping into this Lego universe. It's the same, they're starting to mock Batman, and they're like, even when you were Christian Bale, I didn't like you. And then even Batman himself is like, yeah, I'm more of a Michael Keaton guy. Jokes like that, I thoroughly enjoyed. But even the humor itself inside the film, it's not just stupid farts and stuff like that, like lots of movies nowadays have become accustomed to. It's very intelligent humor, and the way they don't dumb it down to appeal to kids. It's intelligent humor, and I think a lot more animation films nowadays have to do that. Because I was thoroughly entertained throughout the whole movie, even near the end where the movie itself started to lose me a little bit. The humor kept me coming back. It was an incredibly funny movie. If you enjoy humor, I seriously suggest this film because you will enjoy yourself. Probably one of the most iconic parts of the original film was the song, "Everything is Awesome." Everybody knows that. I mean, when that movie came out, everybody was singing that song. And I think the directors and producers and everything like that understood that this film has to match the previous film in terms of its soundtrack. And they tried really hard. I thoroughly enjoyed the soundtrack of this movie. There's not a single song that I would say is iconic as Everything is Awesome, but they tried really hard. There wasn't a single song that I didn't enjoy at all. Like, all these songs they were flames, they were solid, they were fire. And they got stuck in your head. Like throughout the movie, this one song keeps popping up, and the entire point of the song is the song will get stuck in your head. And even now, like the song gets stuck in your head. So that song definitely, played its role in the movie, did it really well. But guys, the soundtrack, 2 thumbs up, that thing was brilliant. So Chris Pratt gave an absolutely fantastic performance as 2 characters this time around. First was Emmett, who was a returning character from the previous film. He was also the main character of this film. He's just such a sweet, innocent, lovable guy. You can't help but love Emmett. And the second character was Rex, who was the exact opposite of Emmett. He was just this badass, cool character that has velociraptors as pets. You could not like Rex. I mean, you could not like Rex. Sorry, Flip. Rex is just the coolest guy ever. And so you have Chris Pratt voicing both these characters, and the one is so sweet and innocent, and you just love him so much, and the other one's so cool, and you're like, yeah, Chris, yeah, ooh. That was super embarrassing. I'm never doing that again. So you have these 2 characters that are so completely different, and they're so similar, but they're different. That'll make sense when you watch the movie. They're similar, but they're very different. And Chris Pratt plays them both absolutely brilliantly. My hat's off to him because those were 2 fantastic portrayals of 2 awesome characters. The aspect of this film that I actually enjoyed most were the themes that it decided to tackle. It decided to tackle themes such as forgiveness, such as growing up, family once again. But these aren't childish themes. These are very grown-up themes. And I think it's actually a very clever way they've done it, because the original film came out 5 years ago. When I watched this, I was in a very different place to where I am now. I've grown up, and so even though it's 5 years, it might not seem like a long time, but I'm a very different person now than I was when the first film came out. And I think the Lego movie realized that. It realized that the target market for the original film are now older. We're going to tackle more serious themes. And they even poke fun at that a little bit in the actual film itself. It went from such a sweet, innocent film in the first one, such a sweet, innocent vibe in the first film, to literally they talk about how nothing is cute in this film. This is a serious film with serious people where cuteness isn't allowed. Cuteness gets taken away and stuff like that. And it's also a representation of, the media industry at the moment, where if you look at, for example, the DCEU as well, it decided everything had to be gritty and dark. Same with the Batman films, they're gritty and dark. Everything just seems to be gritty and dark right now. So the Lego film was also poking fun at that. It also decided to tackle themes such as forgiveness, and I thought it was very interesting the way they decided to do that. I felt really, really wow, I can't believe they actually decided to do that in this film. And they actually approached it in a very adult way. Even though this film is, of course, targeted for children, this was a very adult theme they decided to tackle, and they did it brilliantly, in my opinion. And of course, they also decided to tackle the theme of family, and they did that in the first one as well, but that one was more of a father and son bond, whereas now it's focusing more on the brother and the sister, and they did it brilliantly. The opening sequence is actually so funny, because you can see that these two kids are playing with each other, and the brother's like, well, I'm going to shoot lasers at you, and the sister's like, but my characters eat lasers, and the brother's just trying to make sense, and the sister's like, I've got force fields, now my character can do this, now my character can do that. And of course we can all relate to that if we have had siblings where we try to do something and our siblings just go, but my character can do this, and you're like, that's not how it happens. So this film actually perfectly captured that relationship between older brother and younger sister. So the one thing I really didn't like about this film, and it's happened in all of the Lego films that I've watched, is it gets so over the top near the end. There's just explosions everywhere, and there's characters doing everything, and it's just very, very over the top. Lots of this happening, especially if you watch the Lego Batman movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, with just characters just everywhere. They literally take the entire toy box and they throw all the Lego figurines they have at their disposal. They just throw it straight at the screen. And there was a bit of that in this film as well, which I didn't really enjoy. I feel like the Lego movies always tend to just go so over the top that it pulls my investment out of the film, because I like to be immersed in the film, and when stuff like this starts to happen, you go back and you go, okay, no, it's a film, okay, this is definitely a movie, and I don't want to feel that way. I want to go, this is catching my attention, let me keep watching. I don't want to go, it's just a movie, okay. And sometimes the Lego movies have done that to me, and especially this one. So I hope they find a way around that in the future, because it's a mistake that they've made in pretty much all their films so far. But yeah, guys, that is my review on the Lego Movie 2, the second part. That's 4 in total, sorry, the second part. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, and don't be afraid to subscribe. We are still racing against Happy Chappy. We have to be first to that 1,000. But guys, you're awesome. I love you. I'll check you in the next video.